It was a quiet Sunday morning when my phone buzzed. The kind of morning where everything feels calm, almost too calm, as if the world itself is taking a deep breath. Sunlight filtered softly through the curtains, and the silence in the room felt comforting, familiar. I didn't recognize the number at first, and for a moment, I considered ignoring it. It could have been anyone, a wrong number, a notification, something unimportant. But something inside me, something I couldn't explain, pushed me to open the message. And then my heart sank, a PDF attachment, just sitting there. And a few words, cold, distant, sent, check your email, that was all. No greeting, no explanation, no emotion. Just those words. My fingers suddenly felt heavy as I opened my email. My breathing slowed, almost like I was afraid of what I might find. Deep down, I think I already knew. And there it was, the divorce papers. His name was typed neatly at the top, just like always. Precise, controlled, familiar. His signature sat at the bottom, final and unshaken, as if this decision had been easy for him. I stared at it for what felt like an eternity. Time seemed to stretch, to blur, to lose meaning altogether. The room around me faded into silence. But in reality, it was only 12 minutes. 12 minutes from the moment he sent it to the moment I finally understood the truth. It was over. No dramatic ending. No final conversation, just a document. I remembered our last conversation. I replayed it in my mind again and again, searching for something I might have missed. There had been no shouting, no anger, no dramatic accusations. Just a quiet distance, a cold, almost invisible detachment that I had noticed but chose to ignore. I told myself we were just tired, just busy, just going through a phase. But now I understood. That silence wasn't temporary. It was the beginning of the end. That was all it took for life to shift. 12 minutes, from an ordinary Sunday morning to a moment that would redefine everything I thought I knew about love, trust, and endings. I sat on the couch, clutching the papers, my hands trembling slightly. The room suddenly felt smaller, heavier, like the air itself had changed. It was as though the walls were closing in, slowly, quietly, without warning. And then the memories came, unstoppable. Laughter in the rain, when we didn't care about anything else. Whispered promises in the dark, when everything felt certain. Mornings filled with coffee and quiet companionship, where words weren't even necessary. Those small, simple moments that once felt like forever, were they all real? Or had I just believed they were? 12 minutes had changed everything. And yet those memories remained, clear, bright, persistent, like stubborn ghosts that refused to leave. Then, slowly, something inside me began to shift, a realization. Quiet, but strong. Even though he had sent the papers, even though our marriage had ended in the ink of a document, my life was still mine. That truth settled in, gently at first, then more firmly. Those 12 minutes were painful. They broke something in me, something I thought would last forever, but they also revealed something else. My strength. Because I could feel the pain, I could grieve what was lost, but I could also choose what came next. I deleted the email. Not the papers themselves, they were still there, a record of what had been, something real that couldn't simply disappear. But the shock, the sharp edge of his decision, I let that go. And in that small, quiet action, I felt something unexpected, a sense of release. A sense of control returning, little by little, 12 minutes. That was all it had taken to end a chapter of my life. But it also taught me something I would never forget. Life doesn't stop when love leaves. It doesn't end when someone walks away. It doesn't disappear just because something breaks. Life continues. It moves forward, even when we don't feel ready. And sometimes it asks us to write a new beginning. I stood up slowly, still holding on to that feeling, still processing everything. I walked to the window and looked outside. The world hadn't changed. People were still moving. The sky was still bright. Life was still happening, indifferent to my pain but also full of possibilities. And for the first time in days, I took a deep breath, a real one. And I realized something simple, but powerful. The world keeps moving. And so, Woody,